You want to start off?
Sure. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Kim is in Washington, D.C. at a Christian leadership conference, so I'm filling in for her. And Shmuel has a lot of things to tell us today. We have new updates about the Houthis in Yemen, and he's going to talk about our newest initiative with CFOIC. So glad y'all are here.
Thank you, Katie. When you said y'all, we understood where you're from. It's okay now. We can continue. Okay, great to be here again. Actually, our friend from Sweden already heard me once this day, and I told her that I'm gonna repeat myself. But I had a complaint today. In the afternoon we have a Zoom with Australia, and um, I we sent in the email for this event that we're gonna launch something new. And somebody asked me, but you already launched it in Australia earlier today in the Zoom. I told them, how with like the New Year's and everything, they always are the first in the world to have something. It's the same day. So although they got the news before, it's still a brand new start today with the new initiative. And we will be joined soon with Shira from our office, the head of projects, with a really new initiative that we're trying to launch. And because I'm going to start with the end, and I will say this. Um, Again, social media. You want to see, you want to hear what people are saying all the time, and when you read social media, with all the problems it does, it also gives you a perspective of what people are holding and what they care about and what's the issue. And I see a post by a friend of mine, a wife of a friend of mine. Actually, I matched between them. They're married because of me. They can blame me for that. And she writes this. There's just a second. And just I see it. So she writes something like this. She writes, my husband, which we will leave nameless, like many others, my husband is drafted for the who knows how many times already. I stopped counting. I laughed. It's for my birthday, which is today. A friend of mine asked me with all seriousness if it's emotional and inspiring for me to be so connected to the people of Israel that it's all combined. I answered with a lot of cynicism, of course, but with the power and energy that goes low and how he lives in the exact right time. But now at this evening, with all the challenges, I know it's a zchut, it's a merit, it's amazing. We are taking part. And she posted photos of, I think, postcards or whatever that her children made for her birthday. And I want to start off by this, by trying to share. You're coming to this Zoom and you want to hear what's the word in Israel, what's happening in real time. As you said, eyewitness. And I can tell you that what happens right now, the feeling in the air and what we have is the emotion of, yes, once again, we're going to go into another round of a serious war. I know it looks like it's a big all circle of war, but if you check the news and you will see that in the last couple of months it was quite quiet. The troops of the army went outside of Gaza. We were on the border with an explanation, with an agreement that was made with President Trump. There wasn't constant war and battle in the last couple of months, and we felt that. We felt that when a lot of the men who serve still in reserve could have some downtime at home. Although they knew they will be called again in a couple of months, still they had this gap in between that people can be free, can have planning, can do whatever they want. People are still being called. What used to have be like 30 days a year, now in advance they tell you it's going to be 2.5 and 3 months. But at least there's a gap in between. And starting off Thursday, which was Independence Day, people begin to receive phone calls and WhatsApp messages from their commanders saying, prepare, you're coming back. Because as it looks in the next couple of weeks, Israel is going to go again to another full-on circle of war in Gaza. And this time, we hope things are going to be different. We know already that the difference will be with what will be the goal. And Prime Minister Netanyahu already said it, that there were a lot of limitations. When Biden was in power, it was really hard for us to do whatever we wanted to do in Gaza. And although troops came in, fought, a lot of them injured, we know many casualties as well, we always had to clear the area after the initial cleaning. But what happened was that after we left, they went back to their places. They went back to their tunnels. They went back to recruit new terrorists. They went back to control all the aid that we're sending into Gaza. And although it looked like we fought and we took over places, and we did ruin some of the places, a lot of them were still under, I would say, the notion that it's a game. We play a bit, we're going to fight here, we're going to leave, you're going to come and you're going to return there. And it needs to be changing and it needs to stop. Because in the end of the day, if we're talking about a possibility of living on those borders again, there's the one and most important thing that we need to finish, and this is the Hamas. And as much as we wanted to do it until now, we weren't able to do that with this system of coming in and coming out, coming in, coming out. There's two ways to stop it. Number one is to have constant existence on the main roads. We're talking about three main roads that already exist with a lot of work. We were able to have three different main roads that separates Gaza into three parts, the north, middle, and south part. And those roads are coming from the ocean all the way to the border, and with constant existence of soldiers and just Israel is there. What does it do when you have those main roads? It's clear. You cannot move so easily from the southern part to the middle part, from the middle part to the northern part. It's something that cannot be done. And when you have this situation of people trying to come back to their home, to their stations, to their compound, it's a joke. It just didn't work. And the other thing that we've realized is that as much as we thought that there's a lot of tunnels going in from the Egyptian border, there's still a lot of claims that they're passing ammunition and gear with even drones from the area. Therefore, we need to be existing in the area. And with all the casualties that fell until now in the war, and with a lot of pressure that people feel in the street, what does it mean to go back after 6 and 7 and 8 times back to reserve? The families are being broken apart. Women are staying by themselves, kids by themselves, and it's just a big struggle. And that's the story that Shira will share soon. And I want to go back though to what happened to us last week. Last week was our Memorial Day and our Independence Day. You know, in Israel, it comes together two, one after another. We start with the Memorial Day when we remember the heroism and all the soldiers that fell for the nation, and then we celebrate the independence. This year, of course, was different. Everything was fresh. Everything was new. People lost their loved one this year. It was the first year that the Memorial Day started. In the last year and a half, it's still fresh. The war is still on, and they need to go and they need to connect and they need to go and be there and visit the graveyards. And the story of the Memorial Day is always a story that we understand what's the huge price that we are paying to reclaim this land. But there's something else and stronger than that. The week before the Memorial Day, we in Israel, we remember and we commemorate the Holocaust Memorial Day. So it's a week apart, Holocaust Day, a week later Memorial Day, and a day later is Independence Day. And one of the poems in Israel says that this is exactly the difference, 1 week apart, to remind us how much is it when you have an army and you have a country, and how much is it when you don't have. If you remember, if you see, if you connect with the memory and the legacy that the Holocaust showed us, and this year, it's been already, all my life I've learned about the topic, and every year you get to reveal new subjects, new ideas, and new stories. And this year, I saw a movie. One of my friends here from the community's grandfather passed away. The grandfather passed away 2 weeks ago, just 2 weeks before his 101 birthday. And it's a video they took of him when the age of 96. And it was clear, and he remembered everything, and he told his story. And for an hour and a half, you hear a story, and you cannot realize what those people went through. It's not possible to comprehend. And he tells a story about how, I don't want to go there, it's too hard. But the notion that we in the Holocaust Day remember what happened to our nation when there was nobody there to protect us, and a week later, in the Memorial Day, it's hard, it's difficult, it's painful, but there's one difference. It's with our army and in our state. And I've shared this in the past, but one of those connections is the fact that I heard a story of one of Israeli soldiers finishing the officer course. And in the end of the officer course, in every event in Israel, we sing our anthem. Our anthem in Hebrew is Hatikva, the hope, right? You all know it. And as they were singing it, the last sentence says, Liyot am chofshi be'artzenu, to be a free nation in our land. That's the sentence. So this officer's grandmother was a Holocaust survivor, came to him after the event, after the ceremony, and held his hand, tears in her eyes, and said, you heard what you just sang? To be a free nation in our country. We used to sing the same songs in the camps in Europe during the Holocaust. We didn't have to sing the whole sentence. We stopped after to be. The hope to be a free nation in our land is something really, really far-fetched in our mind. Just to be, just to survive. That was our goal. That was our hope. That was our dream. When people there really survived and didn't survive, but the people who survived really fought for just to exist. And now the dream of the nations to return to the land, and we have a land and we have a country and we have a lot of problems, but as we are speaking, our pilots are back from Yemen after attacking Sana's airport. Do you realize that? I'm talking about a situation that a week apart from the Holocaust Memorial Day to the Independence Day, we think of all the difference that happened in the last 80 years, from being burned into ashes in Auschwitz to make a lot of smoke now from our pilots in the Air Force of the Israeli army. And I've shared today also in the afternoon that we had a pleasure here in our community, and there was a ceremony that brought together a lot of VIP tour, that people that came from Samaria, pastors and political leaders that came to visit during the Memorial Day and Yom HaAtzmaut. They were hosted in Samaria, and they came to the event here in our community. And among the people that came, between the politician and the pastors, were a lot of people of faith. They also brought a general. And just as a respect, I want to tell you his name. He's a lieutenant general, a world hero. He also established and opened the Delta Force. If you remember the name, you can jump and say his name. I'll tell you the name in a second, because my son took a photo with him, a real hero. I'm talking about Mm, ta-ta-ta. Here, this is the guy with my son, okay? And his name is, in English, William G. Jerry Boykin, Lieutenant General, established the Air Force, the Delta Force, a real war veteran. He's 77 years old, and he's a true warrior and fighter for Israel. That's the person, okay? That's his name. So he came here and he gave a speech on the stage in the Memorial Day event. And between the things he said, he talked about his friend who died while he served here in the army. And he shared the fact that he was in the middle of fighting in the Guatemala jungle when he heard the news. So he had to go and leave the jungle to go to the funeral. But he stood there and he told us and he shared how much people around the world support Israel, care about Judea and Samaria. Here among us, between all you amazing guys, there's also a person that I'd like to mention, our good friend Ann Stacy, a lady who lives in Texas and does so much day and night for Israel. We need to mention that. So this lieutenant general stand there on the stage and he says to the people, you need to understand, we stand with you, we care for you. Now, in the rules of the Memorial Day event is that no matter what happens, people don't applaud. Just it's not respectful because it's a serious event. But people could not take it. And the Israeli crowd, being unofficial like we are, as he was finishing his words, shouting, Matsada again won't fall, people just stood and clapped and cheered him. And after that, in dinner, I told him that the understanding and the notion that people stand here and support us is something that still doesn't come to us in light. Yes, and I need to say it over and over again because we don't get it enough. And when we hear people care about Israel, doing for Israel, supporting Israel, it for us it changes everything. And we were standing there and applauding the person in the Memorial Day to say, look at the difference. Look at what happened since the independence, since the Holocaust Day till the Independence Day. And the Independence Day year this year wasn't perfect. There was a lot of fire all around Israel, and the ceremony were canceled. And it wasn't the same feeling, but each and every person in its own corner felt, look at what we've achieved. And although it's not going to be easy and it's still a very difficult task, we are standing strong to our nation. And with that, I want to try to give you a bit of an update of what happens up north. You heard about it. I try to connect it to everything we talked about. And maybe Sheila is going to join us soon, and then we're going to have even time for questions. So the story that everybody asks about, and it's a very serious question that we need to answer, is what's the story with the Druze over there in the north? You saw the demonstration? Do you see it? So there's an issue here that El Giuliani, the ruler, the new ruler of Syria, took over a huge chunk of the country. But although he's the person in control, he still doesn't have a government. And he uses these squads of, I don't know what, people to be there in charge. And among the people who are there in the southern part of Syria, there's a group, a sect. It's a religion of people that are not Muslims. They come from a different tribe that was separated from the big Muslim nation in around the 11th century. They're called the Druze. You heard of the Druze? The Druze, it's a small nation, a small country, not country, they don't have a country, small nation that is living in different places, mainly in Syria, Lebanon, and in Israel. And among the things that really separates them from different cultures is the fact that they say in a very nice way, we are bound and we're loyal to the country where we live. Meaning that we protect, we're going to serve, and we're going to be part of the nation that we protect, that we live in, and we appreciate the country. Therefore, you're going to have Druze living in Syria that are supporting of their regime, and you're going to have people in Lebanon supporting their regime, and there are going to be people here in Israel supporting our regime. And it's not just supporting. I'll say more than that. Part of the notion of this religion is the fact that they were persecuted for many, many years all around in the Middle East. And wherever they go, they were not accepted, especially because there's such a small group. They told them, come on, blend. Why are you living your culture the way it is? So they have very, very precisely, they kept their religion almost as a secret. You go on Google and you search after that, and you will see that the symbols and the different elements of the religion is still symbolic. They have a strong connection to the prophet. Their prophet is Jethro. But other than that, a lot of the elements there are not, I would say, so revealed to the people. I can tell you that when I was in the army, I had a friend with me, a Druze. He was a son of a lieutenant, then a general from the Israeli army. And he said, I'm a Druze, but I don't know the faith. I don't know the rules. I don't know the regulations. It was a bit funny and a bit odd, but this comes from this understanding of being secret religion. Anyhow, what happened now is that El Giuliani enters the villages in the south area of Syria with the people, the Druze, that are not loyal to him yet, and he begins a massacre. He begins to take the women, and they rape, and they torture people, and they have their thing. Ben, you and me would have a problem. You know what they do? They take our mustache and they shave it. In their religion, the Druze, the mustache is the thing. They don't have a beard, only a mustache, and they shave it. Just show of disrespect to the people. So they're torturing their brothers. Yes, they live in a different country, but they're still the same small, almost religion, family. It's not a big group. And now, as the brothers and the family members of the Jews in this now northern part of Israel see what happens there in Syria, they called their people, the politicians, the commanders in the army. They all served in the Israeli army. And they say, rightfully so, what do we do? It's our brothers. It's our family. It's our tribe. It's our culture that are being massacred there. Yes, it's across the border. Yes, they're Syrians. Yes, by the way, maybe in the case of a war, they even would fight against us because they're loyal to their country. But right now, we see a family member, somebody that I'm related with, a friend that is being in a bad situation. And I'm calling to the state of Israel with a lot of demonstration, a lot of noise in the north. Let's go and fight and help our family, the non-Jews, Jews above, around the corner, over the border. What do you think we should do? Should we answer this and start another fight in Syria? Or we should ignore and say, oh my gosh, we have so many things going on. It's not the right time. What would you say? It's an open question. I would love, if you know, I would love to hear your thoughts. And what would you say? Ben, what would you say? Yes, Anne, hi.
Well, hi, I'm sorry. I am right in the middle of, we're going to Israel next Wednesday, taking 12 with me, and we're joining with Americans for a Safe Israel, a Jewish group, Orthodox Jews. And I don't know if that's ever been done before. But anyway, we're coming. And so I know the Druze are very interesting people. And I know that it is if you've never been to their museum, Shmuel, you could tell them where the museum is. It's somewhere up in the north, But many of these people have the officers, men and women, I think, Druze, have been murdered. The officers and their people, and it's just most amazing that these people would be
Fight for Israel. Fight for
loyal.
Israel. Yeah, 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 yeah. And now those people who fight for Israel, they're saying that the other Jews in Syria, they need help. And the state of Israel was in a very serious situation. In one hand, we want to help. In the second hand, we're still fighting. We fight against Yemen. We fight against Gaza. There are fights in Iran that we need to fight. Palestinians all over the place, Hamas. We want another war. The answer is this, and I think it's a quite a phenomenon. We don't want other wars, and we don't want to fight. But these people are loyal, and these people are friends, and these people are brothers. And as Anne said, they have casualties as well. Their blood was shed on the ground of the land of Israel to save this country, to save the people. So Israel said, yes, of course, we will come and help. And I think it's a great demonstration of the morality of the people of Israel. When you see something bad, you need to go and help. You need to go and support. We've been doing it for years. Whenever we had an earthquake in the end of the world, in Nepal or in Turkey or whatever, we would send troops. Yes, sometimes it's to save people, and sometimes it's to fight. And our troops and our pilots already went up north, attacked where they attacked, and just prevented a situation that is going to be escalating. Now, I don't know how it's going to be progressed now. I hope it will stop there, but it might also rise some issues in Syria. Al Juliani will try to attack back in Israel. Still, if something needs to be done, something needs to be done, it will be done. And therefore, this is another force of Israel that is happening right now. So we have Gaza, and we have Syria now, and we have Yemen just a couple of minutes ago. It's live, it's fresh. The smoke is still in the air. We're striking in Yemen. And of course, we have the big story that happens um, in Iran. And President Trump is coming next week to the Middle East, and he's part of the group, maybe. He's coming as well to the Middle East. And he says just a couple of minutes ago, they will have some surprises. What does it mean? I don't know. But I can tell you that until now, we were waiting in silence to see what are the results and what's the deal he can make. He said he can make a deal. He can do something with the hostages. He can change what happens. It wasn't successful until now. And I think at this moment, the state of Israel needs to do what it needs to do. 2 days ago, a missile fell in the airport on the main road, not on the road, but on the curve of it. Immediately that day, there were already attacks in Yemen. We cannot stand still when our country is being attacked in such a strong way. Flights were canceled, a big mess. But now we're trying to bring back the quiet to the area with Donald Trump, with the Israel forces, and altogether we're trying to negotiate and also show our forces where it is needed. I'm going to stop for a couple of minutes, and because we're being joined with Sheila, and it is now 9:30 at night in Israel time. You see, she's already exhausted. She's taking care of her kids this afternoon. What am I doing to her? Bringing her to this Zoom. So I really appreciate Sheila you joining us, and I want you as our the coordinator of all our projects, maybe share a bit the background story of what we're starting now, the new initiative, and where does it find you? How did it brought up to this idea, and what can we do now at this specific time?
So shalom, everybody. Good evening, good morning. I see some faces that are not from America. I see Australia and Sweden. So you guys are amazing troopers. I am here to talk to you about a new fundraising opportunity that we've been working on. Here at CFOIC, we work on the solid projects. We work on fulfilling very important needs for safety and for improving living conditions in Judea and Samaria. But with the war, what we've seen is that over the past 2 years, people have been living holding their breath. We've been holding our breath, wondering when this is going to be over. And of course, the families are taking the heaviest toll, especially the families whose father is a reservist and is being called to the army very often or out of the blue and for months at a time. And so we've had calls, we've had people phoning and saying, what can you do? Like, can you help us? Can you give us dinner? Can you just like make things a little lighter for us? And so we've been discussing at CFRC how can we offer something that's gonna bring that little bit of support, that little bit of uplifting for the families on the ground. And that's something that's completely different from our other projects. And we've called it the Home Front Resilience Initiative. Why the home front? We know the guys at the front, they're taken care of, they're doing their job for the country, but we want to support the women, the mothers who are carrying everything on their own at home. And we want those guys to know that their family's fine. And we want to bring resilience because 2 years is a long time to be at war and to just never know what's gonna, when things gonna get better. So we decided that after we listened to the voices on the ground, the best thing we could do was to bring out a project where people commit, where you just choose a duration and you choose an option of something that can be done for those families, and you forget all about it because it's just going, and those families on the ground, they're not gonna forget. And we brought together 4 different options, and one of them is a pizza dinner once a month. And it sounds so simple, but you have no idea what a relief it is. We've done this as a pilot project, and those moms were so grateful to just know there's that meal that's coming, that's going to be fun, and they don't even have to think about it. And it's actually really powerful for us mothers. We get tired of having to feed people. Another option is going to be tickets to the indoor playgrounds, which is a very common thing to do in Israel, is to take your children to what they call a gymboree. And it allows the mothers to also sit down and just breathe. And we want to bring a little bit of a food assistance just to help take off the edge for those who need a little bit of groceries. And then the last thing is therapy for the children who are going through a lot of anxiety and stress, whether due to the sirens or their fathers being drafted, or sometimes even the mothers are also in the army. So this is like really what's it's been on my heart for a while. The sweat and tears, it's the mothers and the families who are carrying quite a load. And I hope that you guys will spread the word and seize the opportunity to just so easily bless people on the ground, directly bless actual families.
So, Shira, technicalities.
Yes.
How do we pick? How does it go? Who is going to deliver it? Like who is specifically is going to receive this? I want to know that I'm giving to an area, to a region. Can you give a bit more details? The geography of this initiative, maybe?
So it will go to communities of Judea and Samaria who need it the most. We are constantly in touch with the heads of the local communities, of the municipalities, and they know on the ground, they know. There's always there's a specific position in Israeli villages that is like a community manager, a youth manager, and they know exactly on the ground who needs what and what needs to be done. So it would be a rotating project so that we can reach as many people as possible.
I really do hope, we started this with the idea in mind that eventually we're always looking at things from above, right? Security. We need cameras. We need a school. There's something that's really like general, but here there's an opportunity to touch and be involved in lives of family, of an individual, just sharing hope and just supporting just this lady who her husband already is serving more than 300, 400 days even maybe. I've just shared a post with somebody that did it for the seventh time, and I wanted to try to read something else that I translated yesterday, and it was very strong, powerful for me. She writes,
Wow.
please read this. We're in the longest war we've known. This may be just another sunny day for you, but all around us, tens and thousands of families have had their hearts dropped again. Another emergency call up, another round of sacrifice. I'm writing this now, while thank God my husband is still home, for now. It's either to say from a place of calm, not panic, but please hear me. We all have a role in this. This war has been going for nearly 2 years. It's a war of existence. Reservists are being called up again and again, some for the seventh time in 18 months. Please, people don't always understand the toll, the emotional strain, physical exhaustion, the shattered routines, the children acting out, the couples running on empty, the lonely, endless weekends. No, it doesn't get easier. It gets harder. The strength is warning us. The motivation is fading. The spark is dimming. And the ones holding it all together, the partners, the mothers, the women behind the fighters. It is, for me, I think that what I took from it the strongest, and I said it before, is we tend to think that if you're already used to it and it happened to you once or two times, 3 or 4 times, maybe it's easier. It's not easier. If there's like I would say let's in maybe it's a car and there's like gas, right? At the first time you're able to drive to make the drive, but their gas goes down and it goes down and the energy goes down. It's a battery who's dying. And after the sixth and fourth or whatever time, the women are just looking at the situation and they have no energy. They have no energy to continue for another day, let alone for weeks, let alone for 100 days, and how long it's gonna be. And we live here in a situation and we hear around us and it's from everywhere, and I think this is the hardest the struggle that we're going through right now, and I think that this initiative could be really helpful for many 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 families, and I hope we're going to be successful in that. But thank you for that. Friends, any questions for us? Yes, Anne, please.
Well, Shira, like, can you give us an idea of what each one, an average of what that would cost per community? I know some places are very small, maybe 30 or 40 families or so. But so if you were going to pick a community, say, what would be an average cost?
It's okay. It's difficult to give you a straight answer because different communities it's not even the size of the community. It's how many of the men were drafted or how many of the people have a child whom they want to take to therapy and that sort of thing. The way it's designed, when you will get the flyer, but you will see that if you commit to pizza dinner, for example, it'll be $25 a month. The indoor playgrounds is, I think, $50 a month, and the grocery shopping is $100 a month, and the therapy is $150 a month for weekly therapy. So, and then it'll be up to you to decide if you want to sponsor one option or two options and that sort of thing. But basically, that is the cost to offer this to one family for 1 month.
The idea I would say, and and it's different than all the projects we do. Usually we're very straightforward and we'll say this community room, community center, 25,000 altogether, and you cover the cost of the project. Here, the potential is endless because there are literally thousands of families in need. We need not only one and Stacy is going to take the pizza dinner. We need 1,000 of you, and we need 5,000 else that are going to take the therapy. And we really need so many, because the needs here for the individual is big. And what we will do with the connection of the communities that we're connected to is to say, today, this month, we have 700 people who sponsor the pizza. Samaria, Judea, Jordan Valley, Hebron Hills, here, you have 200 pizza to give. Go for it. And they will find the communities and the individuals, and it will go to the individual. And same goes with the therapy, and same goes to all the others issue. It should be an easier way to connect with the individuals. And it's something that we never do, because we always come and the communities come to us with projects and say, we need this, we need that. Here, it's the individuals who came already breaking apart. So we thought how we can do it on a system level. And I think that can be a great matching system. And there's also, I've insisted, I told Sheila that our people are so generous, and it's going to be hard for them. You know what's going to be hard? It's going to be hard to decide, should I go to give to the playground or to the pizza dinner on everything. So I've insisted that in the end of it, there's also going to be, I want to take all of it. So at least I have one of each for every family, for one family for a month. And this is like almost my ties to Israel. And I think it's something that many people, there's an objective here that every person can do something. The pizza, $25. That's it. So God bless you. Sure.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Or a request? That was a beautiful, beautiful letter that you read. Is it possible that you could post that letter, maybe take the lady's name out or whatever? I thought, or will you send it to me?
First of all, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. And I posted it yesterday in our Telegram account. Are you part of our Telegram account?
I'm on Telegram. I don't know, you know.
So maybe Katie is going to share now a link to our Telegram account, and I've posted yesterday. I agree.
I'll get it up.
It's thank God today we have very easy ways to translate. So I read it in Hebrew, and it really touched my heart. I had to translate it, and I said it's so simple, it's so genuine. Translate and send it, and I've sent it yesterday, and I got amazing responses from this. But I'm going to send you this just in a minute from you privately, and I have your email. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, can I say something about the Druze?
Please. And here I see Katie. Yes, you can. And Katie also shared here the Telegram link. So if you click on that and you can join our Telegram account, you will receive more. Please, Anne.
It's been a while since I've been up there on the Syrian border, but they're so close to Syria, those Israeli Druze, that, you know, their folks are just across the line, you know. And it's my understanding, I didn't see this myself, that, you know, they go and they can shout back and forth, you know, what going on with their family. But what really touched me was that when you go up to these Druze villages, how many Israeli flags are flying. And, you know, it's one thing to be a Jew in Israel and have Israeli flag flying, but to be a Druze, where you have right across the way Syria, where they would cut your throat first for being loyal to Israel, and yet they still fly that flag. The other thing is that, as far as somebody may correct me on this, but I don't remember any, and there's been a few, I guess, Israelis that have been killed in the last 2 years by missiles, but that Druze village, Shmuel, you remember those little children that were just
in the playground, yes.
And children that were just yard, they killed them.
Awful situation. Awful. It was in Majd al-Shams, playing soccer in the field. I visited there a couple of months ago. It became a memorial site. Many people come and see it. It's like the brutality in the strongest way on a soccer field, kids playing. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. The loyalty to Israel is there's nothing like it. Something so strong. They're part of the nation. They're connected into it in the strongest way. And God bless them. I'm telling you, they are serving the army, serving the nation, become commanders, officers. They're really, really into it. And God bless them, and we need to be there for them. And I can tell you that we're proud. We're proud that we have this group inside of us that is so strongly motivated to be part of the nation and support and being loyal, and we show our love as well. That's a blessing. Dear friends, thank you so much. In 2 days, on Thursday, I'm going off to Australia. And when you come to Israel, I'm going to be in Australia. We have a lot of friends in Australia, a lot of events going on. I'm trying to share our stories of Judea and Samaria, the people of Judea and Samaria, the amazing people of Australia. They need it. They had just their election, and yet again, left with the same government who's not so much in favor of us. Ben, don't smile. I'm taking you responsible for that. But I'm not going to be in Adelaide this time, unfortunately. But I'm all over the area. The closest would be Canberra, maybe. And
I'll be there in June. Coming to
amazing,
see you. Me and Cynthia.
amazing, great. So that's it. So wish me luck. And I wish you all the best, and hope to see you soon. And God bless you. Toda. Thank you so much. Bye bye.